All right, if we are coming to you on a Sunday, then it must mean one thing only. Well, two things. Either one of us is in big trouble or there's an emergency, or
You, David.
I'm in big
or
trouble.
it is football season. We are unbelievably excited to be back. Sunday recap show when the NFL starts. We're going to be previewing fantasy and obviously the NFL stuff that's going on Sunday as well, but talking everything college football and in between. Before we even get rocking and rolling here, make sure if you haven't, you hit that subscribe button. We are almost to 100,000. I think we're 1,500 subs away, which is just crazy to think about. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. Make sure you go sign up for Daily Wire Plus and follow us on Twitter. We go live, or X, whatever it's called. We go live on there each weekday. If this is your first time joining us, we do a live show every weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. Central to 8 a.m. Central. That's 7:30 a.m. Eastern to 9 a.m. Eastern. We take live calls. We have a live chat. And remember, if you donate, your question gets asked first to the top by that dashing young birthday boy in the Yankees.
Happy birthday.
Right there. Happy birthday, man. The big 2-9, level 2-9.
Yeah, getting up there a little bit. I had to rock the Yankee swag. Got this for the birthday. Y'all contributed, which I appreciate. So, yeah, man, the big 2-9, not even close to 30. So,
yeah, no, you're almost there. We're both there. You're basically there. You might as well.
I'm not. That's the thing about it. Basically, I'm not.
No, you should just embrace it the way I look at it.
Basically, and technically, like 365 days or 364 from here, in the space-time continuum is a super long time.
It'll go like that.
No,
yeah. You'll be 40. You'll be 40 by tomorrow. You'll be 40 with 4 kids. All right. Well, let's get started, guys. Obviously, let's look at this Notre Dame game. Before we hop into the nuts and bolts of it, because there's something I kind of want to preface. The rule change with the clock. We talked about this a little bit last week, how now in college football, the clock does not stop after a first down unless it's under 2 minutes in the second quarter going into halftime or the fourth quarter going into the end of the game. And I think we saw, and I had an offensive coordinator from the SEC text me last night about halfway through the third quarter of the Notre Dame game and say, listen, this rule change is going to have a bigger impact than any rule change that we've seen in a long, long time. And that's not from a betting standpoint. That's from how you go about calling plays. Whether you're running a triple option, slow down, bully ball, 12 personnel style system, or whether you're running the Josh Heupel in Tennessee warp drive style or Jacksonville State and Rich Rod warp drive style, I thought it really did take at least 7 to 10 plays off the game total. And if you're a team now that's got to run a 4-minute offense or try and sit on the ball, it's massive and it's an advantage.
Yeah, no doubt. And you saw that especially when it came to Notre Dame and Navy. I mean, Navy's already running the triple option. And another thing on the Notre Dame Navy game, I saw a lot of people saying that, well, Navy didn't really look that good and they're playing a nobody team. Of course, they're supposed to crush Navy. Look, their goal going into the game was to be as efficient as possible with the possessions you're going to get. And you knew you were going to get fewer possessions because of the clock time that you're talking about, the new rule changes, and the fact that Navy runs that triple option. So, from a Notre Dame perspective, I think the starters scored a touchdown every single drive. I mean, Sam Hartman was as efficient as he could possibly be. So, it especially came into play there. And then, just watching the Jacksonville State UTEP game, because I played for Rich Rod for 2 years, watching those kids run the ball straight to the referee who marks the ball down, it just gave me a little bit of PTSD because that was drilled in our heads all the time. So they're trying to get as many possessions as possible, and it's gonna come into play from a betting standpoint too.
No, without a doubt. Blaine, I want your opinion on the clock thing, but I think you'll agree with me here. Two things can be true at once. I think sometimes sports fans, sports media, some guys that you try and make it just one thing only. Listen, Notre Dame was better than Navy at every position, pretty much, especially up front. But you still have to go out there and execute. You still have to go out there and look organized. Notre Dame didn't have a ton of penalties. I don't think they had a procedural penalty. I think Marcus Freeman handled the clock very well. I thought they were very organized. The special teams looked good. There wasn't a lot of blown assignments. So regardless of if you are better than that other team, if you're a Notre Dame fan having to go across the pond to Ireland to play, Navy with a new coach, it was going to be emotional. You still have to go out there and execute. And I was shocked. At Navy, I thought misaligned a lot at the linebacker position. If you look, they didn't have linebackers in the B gaps basically for the whole first half. Now, they were playing a bunch of cover zero. They said, screw it, at the end of the day, we're going to bring heat and make Sam Hartman get rid of the ball. But I thought Notre Dame handled the gap scheme well. I thought they handled the zone scheme well from a run standpoint. The timing was good. There was a couple throws Sam Hartman would want back that first. I mean, they were running by guys. He kind of lollipopped one a little bit early. But outside of that, man, I thought he was really efficient. And that was the questions about, how will Sam Hartman be under center? How will Sam Hartman be now that he's out of that slow mesh RPO offense that Dave Clawson and Wake Forest was running? Well, the skill position out wide, still got to see them against the top dogs. But I tell you what, man, Notre Dame looked efficient. They look organized. They look balanced.
Well, if you're Notre Dame, you're better than Marshall a lot on mostly every position last year. So you walk into this game knowing what you need to get done. And we know this if you're Notre Dame right now. All right, Sam Hartman, we knew he was an elite quarterback at Wake Forest. You come to Notre Dame, you put him under center. Now it becomes what? It becomes a timing thing. So it becomes. Sam was on time throughout the game. Notre Dame, every year is always up for the Joe Moore Award when it comes to the offensive line. You're going to be phenomenal. So my questions you have left is receivers. Your true freshman with the 2 touchdowns look great. He's going to be a problem going throughout the year. You brought back your leading rusher. You're going to be fine there. Linebacker, I thought you played well. And D-line, I thought you played well. We don't know for Notre Dame when it comes to the secondary because of the team that you played in Navy. They're not going to test your corners. They're not going to test your safeties. They did test them a couple times. And with that offense from Navy, it's such a set-you-up offense throughout the entire game with the run. You're going to get beat a couple times just because your eyes are tricked the game so much. But the boxes you can check if you're Notre Dame. All right, 1, you have an elite quarterback. All right, elite quarterback who's a lead at Wake Forest. He's going to be a lead at Notre Dame. You have an elite offensive line. All right, you have elite running back positions, skill position receiver. We really don't know yet because you haven't been tested against the best. And you roll through Notre Dame's schedule. This is where Notre Dame used to get in trouble against the Clemsons, right? You can get matched up front on both sides of the ball. Ohio State, you can get matched up front on both sides of the ball and the skill position. What can be the difference in that, right? The difference can be Sam Hartman.
Yeah,
right? He's the guy that can take you over the top. This is why I had him in my top 5 quarterbacks in college football before the year started. Sam Hartman is an elite thrower of the football. He's experienced, and he's the type of guy, if an NFL scout walked in right now, he's a leader of a football team no matter where he goes. From off the field to on the field to in the film room to the weight room, and that's what you need from a Marcus Freeman coach team is your quarterback to be that leader. Notre Dame's going to be a problem, Jake. I think you had to go 11-1.
Yeah, I had him going 11-1, and David, I look at the front 7 in Notre Dame too. I love their linebacker room.
Number 8 is a problem.
You hear about Bertrand too. Number 8, NFL player. I think the Bertrand kid. Look, Kaiser's a really good player. Are they the best athletes out on the field? No, but Bertrand. I mean, hearing them talk about him calling Luke Kuechly, them being on the phone for an hour and a half, him taking 30 pages of notes. I'm telling you, these guys are going to be in positions to make plays. And our father played linebacker and ran a 4.75 in the 40. He used to say, "Listen, if you got to run 40 yards to catch somebody at Mike, you don't want to. You can't play for me. Again, if I'm beating you to the spot and I know what I'm seeing in the box, I'm going to be able to make the play." We're going to get to the chat in 1 second. I want to say this. I kept thinking, and I want to get to the Hawaii Vanderbilt game, and then we'll go to USC. But this whole game, after watching Notre Dame and then watching USC, I just kept thinking with that new clock rule, how long can Notre Dame keep Caleb Williams off the field? Because if USC's and I don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse, I know we're going to get to USC, but the whole time I was watching Notre Dame operate up front and watching Estimate be really efficient at 16 carries for 95 yards. Longest run was 13, but he's not a home run hitter. He's just going to hit a bunch of doubles and be a really consistent average guy. So, man, I tell you, I liked what I saw from Notre Dame.
Me too, man.
Yeah,
I wish I could go back and switch my pick on the USC game. But I do know it's early. But seriously, you're talking about Sam Hartman, top 10 quarterback in the country. Audric Estime, top 10 running back. You have one of the best tackles in Joe Alt over there. So the defensive side of the football, let's talk about that for a second, because you're playing a triple option team. So this is the only time they're going to face this scheme. So some of the gash runs that happen like that, and some of the wide open receivers like Blaine was talking about, where your eyes are in the backfield. I mean, we used to run the wishbone in my high school. That's, hey, throw it 3 times a game and hope their eyes are in the backfield. I'm not as worried about that. You still won the football game. 42-3. So my thing is, Audric Estime, you saw him put it on the turf one time yesterday, had some fumbling issues last season. Let's see if that continues in big games. And then Sam Hartman under center a lot. First play, he's under center. That's awesome, but are there going to be any quarterback center exchange issues as we move forward? Maybe there's a wet game, something like that in South Bend. But yeah, they were efficient. They were committed to the run, efficient on third down. And then another thing for Notre Dame, how efficient will they be in the red zone throughout the season?
For sure. All right, let's get to that chat real quick, Blano.
All right, let's go to Sean with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, Sean. Happy birthday, Blaine. Appreciate it, man. Any plans for the birthday? Yeah, I'm going to sit at my house and watch football highlights. Also, Jake, what do you think of the San Jose State quarterback?
Look, I watched this Cordero kid play against Auburn. They kind of had a battle between him and Nick Nash, the guy that absolutely ripped USC up and down yesterday at wide receiver. He's got some witch in him. I think he's a guy that's going to play a different position at the next level, but I've watched him operate. He's a fun player to watch. He's fun in that system. I thought San Jose State put up a decent fight yesterday, but USC at the end of the day, just the skill players they have, including that freshman Zachariah Branch. I mean, goodness gracious, it's like that dude got shot out of a Sonic the Hedgehog cannon on that kickoff return, and then made a great play there at the end. Still a lot of questions for USC though.
All right, let's go to Jeremy Brandt with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Jeremy. He says, Nebraska's taking down Minnesota. Shout out to my friend AC who introduced me to this show, GBR. I believe that means Go Big Red, boys.
Yeah, Jeremy, first off, shout out AC. Yeah, tell him we said thanks. Look, we're going to be breaking it down all week. We're going to start previewing games literally tomorrow. Hopefully got a big-time guest on to talk about everything. I mean, we got Florida, Utah Thursday. Yep. We've got UConn, NC State Thursday. We've got Nebraska, Minnesota Thursday. Really excited. I think the over-under for that Nebraska-Minnesota game is like 43.5, which with the new clock rules now, looking at the way both those teams are going to play, interested to see Jeff Sims and Nebraska, but I think it's a 7.5-point spread. Minnesota's a 7.5-point favorite. Yeah. I tell you, man, the more I look at Nebraska, I just want to believe in Nebraska so bad. Like the football lover in me, it's like the same reason I love Field of Dreams. Like that movie, like wants me to believe in Nebraska. But I feel like this clock change, this rule change, may help PJ Fleck just about as much as it helps anybody in the way that they play up there.
A lot of Big Ten teams, actually. And yeah, that game's at Minnesota. So let's just say that Nebraska does go on the road at Minnesota, which PJ Fleck has, many more year head start here on Matt Rule. But if they can go on the road and win that one, and then you beat Colorado with a brand new coach and Deion Sanders out there, then you're going to get Northern Illinois at home and Louisiana Tech at home. Let's just say there's a scenario where you could start 4-0 before Michigan comes to you and start Big Ten or start get Michigan at home for the Bussin' Bowl with our boy Taylor Lewan and Will Compton over there. That'd be a heck of a start, man, for a brand new coach.
Let's go to Tyler Jarvis with a $10 donation. Appreciate it, Tyler. Says, got an idea for the show. I love ideas. Says that 4-letter network fired the best one on their Saturday. I feel we need a Crane & Co. and Pollock more better than your Saturday game day spectacular extravaganza.
Look,
that conversation came up at my house yesterday.
Yeah, too. At this point, Darby Lou, I think may end up holding us hostage if we take David away every day of the week with the babies that got over there. But look, we're always trying to find a way to bring the best content. We love DP. Really enjoy going to his golf tournament every year, chopping it up with him. And no more David Pollock. No more Big and Rich. I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch it. I didn't even know how. I didn't even know how it went. I know apparently everybody picked Bama and Desmond Howard picked Michigan like I did. Damn it! So that's definitely not going to happen.
Well, it's actually the one realistic. Pick Desmond Howard's ever made.
Yeah. So, didn't last year he had Bishop Sycamore playing the South Harmon Institute of Technology in the championship
just can't watch it anymore. It's sad, man. Used to love it.
I was going to Chris Walton. He said, "Wouldn't it be wild if Notre Dame beats Ohio State and USC this season?" I don't think that'd be wild.
Man, I wonder who said that.
I wonder who said that. I don't think they do, but I wouldn't be, looked up and the snuffleupagus was in the air. I believe Notre Dame would win both those games before that.
I think the Buckeyes will be a taller task. One, they're more balanced on offense, right? And they always are. But even let's just say Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't play, right? You still have to deal with Mboka, and then you have to deal with two of the top 15 probably running backs in the country, and then the Buckeyes are also going to have a more elite defense than USC is. So that's the one, and you get them first at home. So we're going to find out a lot more about Notre Dame in that game.
All right, cool. We're going to get back to the chat. Remember, if you do donate, your question gets read first. Guys, let's get to this Vanderbilt-Hawaii game. And watching this game, I couldn't help by the time it got done, and I took the over 55.5. Thank goodness it hit. I did have Vandy minus 16.5, and it looked like, especially after they ran that kickback, they had a couple big plays that Vanderbilt was going to run away with it. But, a lot of us, I believe, did all three of us predict Vanderbilt to go winless in the SEC?
Yes, but I have them winning all three of their non-conference games.
Yeah. Again, that's I believe I had that too. I believe I had them 3-9. They got Alabama A&M next. They have problems on the offensive line. Mm-hmm. Listen, Hawaii's a better team than they were last year when Timmy Chang took it over. And they are playing with heavy hearts with what's gone down out there, that awful fire. And I get that. But Vanderbilt, for lack of a better term, just got their ass kicked up front on the offensive line the whole game. When you have 44 rush yards against this Hawaii front seven, when you only outrush Hawaii, who runs the run and shoot by 40 yards, Hawaii ended up 25 carries for 40 yards. That's 14 yards they lost in sacks, too, with the Schrager kid, who I thought played pretty well. Swan lost 26 yards in sacks, but Vanderbilt ended up on 23 carries with only 44 yards. Your longest rush was 21 yards. I'm sitting here looking at Vanderbilt, and it's not like they were great in pass protection either. A lot of the balls that Vandy threw, especially the first three quarters, were slants, and they were hitches. You did see him go over the top a couple times. Swan missed on a lot of them, and then had that one play where it looked like he may have been past the line of scrimmage, and then he wasn't. But if you're Vanderbilt, yes, it's a win, but there's a lot more questions, I think, about, hey, is this year going to be the next step for Clark Lee? Because if you can't run the ball against Hawaii, you're going to really, really struggle to move the ball in this conference with the schedule that you play.
I thought A.J. Swan came in and made some really nice throws. I was excited to see how he was going to come in and take over that quarterback role, but there were multiple times he had hot routes open and just took a sack. You just can't do that, especially as you enter SEC play. The Hawaii thing, you're exactly right about the fires that are going on out there, man. It's just when you're playing for something even more than a football game, that's why I really wish I had just taken Hawaii to cover in this game. I thought Vanderbilt might do some of the same things they did last year when they hung 63 on them, but this is a new Vanderbilt team. This is a new Hawaii team, and Timmy Chang, I mean, he was one of the most fun quarterbacks to watch when I was growing up. He broke the NCAA yardage record before Case Keenum, I think, came back and beat him in 2011. But that Braden Schrager kid, the quarterback for Hawaii, nice. Man, he looked good, man. He threw the ball with pace. He threw the ball on time. So I think Hawaii is going to surprise some teams this season.
Yeah, well, I always get skeptical, Hippo, when a game gets weather delayed, and when I have money on it. I always get skeptical, Hippo, when he gets pushed back. Guys get warmed up, and they don't get warmed up, and they get tight. But I think if you're Hawaii, I'm not surprised by this from Vanderbilt, at least. Your quarterback looked good. I thought your defense did okay in certain spots. Your linebackers played well, especially the guy who had 2 interceptions. But, if you're Vandy, we all had him not winning a conference game. It's a disaster up front. If Hawaii's getting to you, average 1.9 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're doing that against Hawaii, wait till the Monstars show up during the year and see what happens. You're going to be hiding in the corner trying to do an escape room to find a way to get out. Okay. I feel bad for your quarterback already. A win's a win. All right. It is. You can win. You can win pretty. You can win ugly. That was an ugly win. But it's going to get a lot uglier.
They had a kickoff return for a touchdown. They had a kickoff return for a touchdown. And what'd they end up winning by? They end up winning by 7.
Yeah. David, not only that, they intercept. DeRicky Wright's an NFL player. He's the guy who got both their interceptions and forced that fumble down in the red zone. There was one time in the red zone where the Schrager kid double clutched and threw that pick. DeRicky Wright made that incredible play on there. So you stole, let's just say on the low front 3. You ran a kickoff back for a touchdown. You ran another punt back inside their 35 that I do believe you ended up scoring a touchdown on. So that game could have flipped very, very quickly, and they were lucky they didn't get an onside kick recovered by Hawaii, who ended up getting the ball back, but was kind of pinned back in their own territory with a couple minutes to go and no timeouts. But David, before we move on, love Timmy Chang. It's 2023. Why is the quarterback running over to the sideline to get the call? It cost him 3 timeouts.
Remind me of myself in high school, man. Can we do it? We can get some signals going, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, they were signaling during the 2-minute drill at the end. Like it literally cost them on one time. The Schrager kids started freaking out because they burned through their timeouts about halfway through the third quarter. But just from a conditioning standpoint, like, good Lord, man, if you got to run all the way to the sideline every time and then run all the way back. I mean, the poor Schrager kid at one point, I just started feeling bad for him.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, that's what I had to do in high school. Not fun.
Yeah, it's the most inefficient thing I've ever seen. But speaking about inefficient, all right, let's go ahead and get to this USC game. Now, listen, you know what it looked like to me, guys? You know what USC looked like to me? Every single team that Lincoln Riley has ever had. That's what they look like to me. Incredible on offense. Incredible on offense. Dorian Singer, they're going to throw it there. He's going to catch a lot of touchdown passes from Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams hadn't skipped a beat, can drop the ball, pick it up. Oh, hey, guess what? It's a touchdown. Still a witch. They're really good on offense. But defensively, it's the same old story. And if it was something schematically, very fixable, right? Very fixable. Hey, maybe we need to play a little less man. Or maybe we need to kind of simplify it a little bit just so our guys can get in position. They can't tackle. Again, they can't tackle. And that to me, you don't teach somebody that in 1 week. Some people think it's opposite. Oh, I can fundamentals. Yeah, we can work on the fundamentals all week in practice. If we're having to work on tackling in open space at a place like USC, but in week 2 of the regular season, good luck with the guys you're going to have to play. San Jose State, Nick Nash ripped them up and down. And this San Jose State team's not exactly the Globetrotters on offense. So this USC team, I'm just telling you, they're not going to win a national championship with Lincoln Riley because this is the same team we've seen over and over and over again.
Well, I didn't watch it because it was on the Pac-12 network, and the Pac-12 hates us apparently.
Yeah,
I don't understand what's going on out there. I mean, Notre Dame can play across the world in Ireland. I turn on the TV, I can watch them. Jacksonville State can play UTEP. I can turn on the TV and watch it. Southern Cal, one of the biggest brands in football, playing a week early. I thought the whole point of week 0 was so that you could get on television without all the other teams playing. I can't get on the television and watch it. So you know what? That's on them. And I guess Caleb Williams is going to keep playing these type of teams and throwing for 300 yards where no one can see it and still be in the Heisman Trophy conversation. But boys, don't be surprised if they still start 6-0 with everything that you said being accurate. You know, they're going to have Nevada next, Stanford after that, then they get their first bye, then Arizona State, then Colorado, and then Arizona before they go on the road to Notre Dame. We've talked about it ad nauseum. This schedule is so back heavy because after you go on the road to Notre Dame, then you get Utah, then you get Washington, then you get Oregon, and then you get UCLA. And remember, Washington and Oregon weren't on that schedule a year ago when they had double-digit wins. They are going to be on the schedule this season. So I don't know, man. That they got to figure something out on defense.
Blaine, what do you think?
How does Alex Grinch still have a job?
Doug, at this point, Blaine,
I don't know how this man, because like the whole talent thing, okay, you went and got talent. You got Bear Alexander from Georgia. You got 2 of the best D tackles in the Big Ten from Purdue. And another guy, like, you got talent, number 4 ranked class in the portal. All right. And you've gotten no better. This is the things I was looking for. All right. 1, you're USC. Can you stop the what?
Run.
You gave up 80 yards rushing in the first quarter.
Incredible,
in
man.
the first quarter. And you can't, like, tackling, I get it, but still, discipline on gap integrity up front on defense is a disaster. It's a disaster, and that is coachable. That is teachable, and they don't get better. The excuse for Alex Grinch they don't have talent anymore. This guy is going to ruin Lincoln Riley's career. Ruin it.
And Blaine, they had talent at Oklahoma on defense. Like, go look at the draft. Like this, I'm telling you, this is who he is.
How does he have a job?
Lincoln is. Alex Grinch has got to have pictures of somebody or something. Like, and again, it's early in the season, right? But the things I saw yesterday, because I do have Fubo TV. You know, there's dozens of us.
Hide money,
dozens.
Can't hide money.
Like it is shocking just to see the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over. And they will be 6-0, David. They'll be 6-0. They'll be averaging 50 points a game. Caleb Williams will be leading the Heisman. But at this point with USC and Lincoln Riley, it's not about getting to the playoff anymore. It's about, and I know he hadn't been there with USC, but he's gotten there before the Oklahoma. It's about, can you win a national championship? What's the only thing he hasn't done, right? He's made it to the playoff. He's won the conference, right? He's had great seasons. He's had Heisman winners. He's
3
had
Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks. That's insane.
It's insane, but he hasn't won the national championship, and he won't.
He has to figure out a way to do the inverse of what Nick Saban and Bill Belichick have done, and really even Dabo Swinney to an extent. Go get the top defensive coordinator that you can find.
Jim Leonard,
the way that
is
Brent
out there.
Venables was with Clemson for so long, or Kirby Smart stayed at Alabama for so long. Like, you got to figure out a way to go get one of those guys.
I would have gone and gotten Jim Leonard so quick. You would have. I mean, I know him and Alex Grinch are buddies, but guess what? Good buddies get you fired in this job. So I'm fired up to see. Kind of how they progress, if they progress at all. And we know you guys are fired up for week 1. And DraftKings Sportsbook, sponsor of our show, is hooking you up with a can't-miss offer to start the season strong. Unlike USC, you won't miss this tackle. And this week, new customers can bet just $5 on college football and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Let me say that again. This week, new customers can bet just $5 on college football and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. We know anything can happen in college football. We've seen it a million times. We've got USC, or South Carolina, North Carolina. We've got Florida, Utah coming up Thursday. We've got Florida State, LSU on Sunday. There's a ton of great games. We know your team is playing. All right, so it's more fun when you're in on the action. And if you're at a place where you can bet, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5. That's only on DraftKings Sportsbook. With our code BOOSTER, the crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE-NEW YORK 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit cpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age, 21 years and up, varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/. All right, boys. What else we got? Blaine, you want to get to comments?
Let's go to Hunter Fournette, Leonard's brother, $10 donation. Said, should Alex Grinch try his hand at being an OC instead of a DC? He needs to try something. All right, he needs to try. At this point, it doesn't work.
Well,
it's not working.
Again, like even if it was one thing, if you're like, all right, we're just schematically we're bad. Let's dumb it down. Let's simplify it. We have good athletes. Let's get them in position to make plays and let physics take over. You're bad schematically. You're not sound. You're not disciplined. And you struggle fundamentally. It's a two-way problem again already. Now, it can get better, but is it going to get better enough to beat Oregon or Utah or Washington? Or if you do get to the playoff, not to get smushed? How about Notre Dame? How about that? You want to know the best way to beat Caleb Williams? Keep him on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame's going to get up there in those gold helmets and play a game called let's run it down. Let's get in 12 personnel. Let's run inside zone. Yep. Let's run counter. Let's run power. And let's just leave Caleb over there in the sideline painting his nails.
Tick, tick, tick. Yep.
Let's go to Her Dizzle with the $5 donation. Appreciate it. He says, what do y'all make of the new Big Ten rule about roster release with hours before kickoff?
I need to look into that. What can you now release it like later then? Because typically you have to disclose on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on the conference, because what happens is you send a depth chart that's updated. Now the depth chart you can kind of manipulate, but if there's somebody that's injured, right, typically there's some forewarning that goes on there. Not exactly like the NFL, but you do have to send a depth chart over by Tuesday or Wednesday. To
the other team, to you guys as coaches, or publicly?
To the other team. There's like conference rules. It's like with film. Mm-hmm.
It's like disclosure or something.
Yeah, let's go to Bolden T with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, Bolden. So what's it going to take for the real U of M, Minnesota, to win the Big Ten? I feel like PJ needs to take Minnesota to Indy soon or just leave.
There's one U of M.
Well,
they play in Ann Arbor.
I'll say this. I think in Bolden T, I'm not trying to disrespect Minnesota because they are the only team to ever three-peat. Don't forget that. I think you can win 8 games a year at Minnesota and stay there forever. Now, having said that, I don't think that's what PJ wants to do. I don't think that's, the standard that the diehards of the fan base has. But if it's the right 8-4 every year and you sneak around and go 9-3 or 10-2 once every 3 or 4 years, I think you could stay there. I tell you what, if I was Minnesota, I'd be pissed about not having divisions anymore. I'd be praying that the Big Ten with these new additions goes back to divisions, which I don't think they will. But even if they do, it's probably not going to be as lopsided as you are in the Big Ten West. I don't think Minnesota. I think Minnesota plays Big Ten style ball, but they lack the elite skill players to be able to take that next step and beat the Michigan. I think Minnesota's tough as hell up front.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota can run with a lot of people up front. But when it comes down, I know they've had some really good backs. I know they've had Rashad Bateman and they've had a couple guys on the outside that have done it. I just don't think they have the depth to be able to go and say, listen, if we're going to stalemate up front with Michigan and Ohio State, right, we have these amount of skill players to be able to go dominate and actually win the Big Ten and maybe have a chance to make that playoff.
And that schedule is going to be so much tougher than, say, a Wisconsin. Now, Minnesota does get Wisconsin at home last game of the season, but they have to play the Buckeyes, but they have to play the Buckeyes and Michigan. Wisconsin only has to play one of them. And then out of conference, too, that North Carolina game, week 3 for Minnesota on the road in Chapel Hill.
For sure.
Let's go to Ryan Gade with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, Ryan. He said, I took the USC under and the Notre Dame over. Neither hit. They can get off my lawn. I'll tell you one thing. When it comes to the over, first of all, never bet a USC under, buddy. I can promise. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
You're Navy, and it's at the end of the game. And I know you took the under, so I know you're probably sweating a little bit. It's at the end of the game, all right? You're on the, 4-5 yard line going in for a touchdown, and you're a triple option, run it, in short yardage situations.
Throwback.
Doing the whole thing. And you run a reverse pass, Nick Foles throwback. I'm pretty sure I saw Andy Reid in the stands. You knew it was not going to work. I just don't understand the entire game. You do this. This is what you're known to do. It's what you do for a living, babe. And you just do the complete opposite at the end.
Well, I had the under 48.5, and it felt great about it the whole game. I ended up going 5-3, almost +2 in units. Love starting out in the green. But here's the thing, too. Missed 2 field goals, including one short one. They missed 2 field goals. You had that at the end. And then Notre Dame, just take a knee. Just knee it out. You fumbled. They tried to give Navy the ball back with about 45 seconds. They fumbled on a speed sweep they gave to a freshman. Just knee the ball
Audric
out,
Estime was in the game in the 4th quarter with a minute left.
Number 8
getting
was in the
carries.
Game. Number 8, their best defensive player was in the game.
I was in the exact same boat as you. Obviously, I had the under at 48.5. But why regardless of whatever I had, why is your star running back in the game up 48-3 or 45-3?
I mean, it's a lot of questions. Why is Aaron Rodgers playing preseason?
Well, that's a different.
He did look good.
Okay,
he did look good.
Yeah, that's a bad beat.
Garrett Wilson high point.
I had Vandy -11.5. Oh boy, catches a pick and goes to the ground at the end of the game, which I can't be super upset about. Which is the right play, but go score. Dog.
Oh well, while we're telling people to get off our lawn, UTEP. What is UTEP doing at the end of the game?
God,
You've gotten all the
what
momentum.
You
got all the momentum back finally after Jacksonville State is just thoroughly beating you all game. You got some momentum. 3rd down and 1. What do? You throw a fade ball all the way down the field on 3rd and 1. 4th and 1, down. You throw it again and throw an interception. You were gashing them for 5 yards a carry. Can we get the 1st down?
It's what happens when coaches panic. Here's a crazy thing. Rich Rod panicked too. He took out their starting quarterback to run quarterback runs. They took out Zion Webb, whose best attribute is running, put in the backup quarterback at the end of the game, who hadn't taken a snap the whole game, to run the ball. And they end up having to punt it. So I thought both head coaches tried to blow it. UTEP just made more worse decisions than Jacksonville State did. I was shocked to see. I was shocked because I knew what was going to happen. I had the under at 54. I was like, here's what will happen. This game has been low scoring all game. They'll go to overtime 17-17. It'll go to 8 overtimes. And this game will end up being like 45-42. And the over will hit. So I was happy either way. I had Jacksonville State in a 5-team parlay at +330 that everything hit except New Mexico State.
Me too.
Wow.
You had a 5-team parlay?
6 leg.
Dude, at +330, I had Notre Dame -16.5. I had Ohio +8, which hit late because
Okay, I had
Ohio scored.
I had a 6-legger: Notre Dame, Vandy, USC, San Diego State, La Tech, and New Mexico State.
I had
Did
a
La
6
Tech
legger
end up
too,
winning?
plus 542.
They came back and won. So New Mexico State was the only one.
Yeah, Notre Dame money line, San Diego State money line, New Mexico State money line, Vandy money line, USC -27.5, and La Tech money line plus
Which
542.
after UMass decided to have a pride night against Liberty last year, I started betting against UMass every week.
Dude.
But Don Brown was the defensive coordinator at Michigan for many seasons, man. They've got some athletes.
And look at the Chaminade kid they got at quarterback.
He can play.
Like Clemson and Georgia Tech. He's a big kid that
he can play,
threw the ball, better than what I thought. And I'll tell you this, they're a 38-point underdog going to Auburn next week. Tell me why I would not take UMass +38 or whatever the under is going to be. Because if you're a 38-point underdog, and don't forget, UMass I think had a top 15 defense last year with Don Brown.
Yeah, Don Brown can coach some defense now.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation for you. I mean, if Auburn covers, we're looking really good. If they don't, you win money. So, I mean.
I know.
It's your little bet hedge.
It's catching my financial emotions.
And San Diego State, Ohio was a dogfight. Ended up being a good one. Kind of ugly
O'Rourke
early.
Got hurt again. That kid,
ugly early, but yeah.
First,
I thought Harris came
I love the awful field goal kicking in college football. It's already happening, which is great. The difference between college kickers and NFL kickers might be the biggest difference ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, it's insane. You watch what they can do on Sunday. But yeah, a nice win for San Diego State. I still don't think San Diego State's very good. Maiden to me still struggles to throw the ball. Had a couple good throws. But you know, on a personal, I had the under in 49. I should have just bet the under as a single on one of my show bets. I knew that was going to hit. Our boy Timmy B was on there with Spencer Tillman, 25th anniversary.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
that was a San Diego State game.
Yeah. And don't forget, remember, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We go live each weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. Central to 8 a.m. Central. Check us out, including tomorrow. We're going to be talking about everything leading up to week 1. Blaine, let's hit the chat a couple more times before we roll out of here. Let everybody go to church.
All right, let's go to Tyler Jarvis with the $5 donation. Appreciate it, Tyler. Says, I wasn't too impressed with USC's O-line. San Jose State was getting a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams.
They were, but I mean, USC offensively, I'm not worried about them being able to score points with what they have. That offensive line, I think, has a better chance of being way better than what they're going to be in the front 7 on defense. So USC is not going to have a problem scoring points. The question is, though, and this is something we talked about during the offseason, you're not going to play great on one side of the ball 12 games in a row. There's going to be those couple games we see in basketball, we see in baseball, we see in football, we see in hockey, we see in Quidditch, we see in underwater basket weaving. Mm-hmm. Your offense isn't always going to be there. So what's going to happen when the threes aren't falling? What's going to happen when you're not hitting those home runs and doubles? What's going to happen when you're not able to sling the ball around the yard or be consistent in the run game and hit big plays all the time, and you got to win a game, maybe not even a game against a great opponent, with your left hand? Like that to me is, I think, where we could see USC. That's why I had them going 9-3. I really believe they're a 9-3 football team.
All right, let's go to Roger Dodger, the mayonnaise kid. $5 donation. Appreciate it, Roger.
What?
USC's championship hopes must have went fishing with Ed Orgeron.
Yeah, they got put in a hole down in the bite. And listen, I can USC figure it out on defense? Do they have the talent to figure it out on defense? There's a chance. But with this schedule, I don't see them being able to dominate the way that some people think they can dominate. And we see this every year with Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch. Sometimes the sidekicks got to go, and you got to bring in somebody else.
Yeah, sooner or later, Robin gets annoying. All right?
Yeah.
Quit talking so much. And I'm not saying, their defense was going to go beat Georgia. You know, I wasn't saying that. All right? I was just saying they got better personnel. So obviously they have to be better.
Yeah.
Right? They have to be. But I guess good defensive players go to USC and get out with Alex Grinch and just get worse. Just get worse. Bear Alexander looked like he got worse.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean,
like
the kid
Cub
from Purdue,
Alexander,
who's an absolute unit, got worse. I just don't understand.
And it doesn't help. You're going to play against the best collection of quarterbacks the Pac-12 has maybe ever had.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Cam Rising, if he's healthy.
Yeah. Let's go to % better with the $5 donation. Appreciate it. College football week 0 stat analysis. Only one team could control the time of possession and won the game. Y'all know who that is?
Only one team won the time of possession
And won the game.
and won the game. I would say that is.
I'd
that
have to
would
go with Notre
be-
Dame,
I
even
would
against
say-
the triple option team.
I would say the team that won. I'm not looking up the time.
You're
of possession.
looking it up. Quit looking it up.
I would say Louisiana Tech.
He looked it up. It's locked.
Blaine, I swear I didn't look at it. There's no way I
look
could have looked that up.
What was the
Thoughts on
time
the
of
Because
new
I was
rule?
looking at all the games.
Thoughts on the new rule and its impact? We kind of hit this earlier. Quickly. What's your thoughts?
Well, if it doesn't matter if you run a warp drive offense and you go 1,000,000 miles per hour like Tennessee, or you run and look, Navy went up tempo with the triple option. Like they threw that wrinkle in there. So I don't want to sit here and act like they were just trying to sit on the ball the whole time.
Yeah, they were.
I thought
That was
Hawaii,
weird to see.
Yeah, I thought Hawaii was slower than Navy was, which is funny. It doesn't matter how you operate, or it's going to change the way you operate. Like I said, I had an SEC offensive coordinator text me that midway through the third quarter of the Notre Dame game, I'm watching it. Like you're having to learn it in real time too. That's why it's still so impressive how good Vegas is at adjusting. You think you're going to sneak them early with it's a new rule. Maybe it takes a while for Vegas. I mean, they were basically right on it outside of the Notre Dame game, right? The spread between Navy and Notre Dame, UTEP Jacksonville was basically a pick 'em. Jacksonville State was basically a pick 'em. The overhit in UMass New Mexico State, it was interesting, man.
All right, let's go to String Gene. It's a nice name. Said, so is the Heisman out of the Pac-12 handicaps? Is it too easy? Is Caleb going to win? Look, Caleb was my Heisman winner. I think you can put Sam up there right now. Sam was he was making it to New York, but is the Heisman out of the Pac-12 handicapped?
David, what do you think?
I mean, Caleb Williams won it last year. I don't know what exactly is the question.
I'm guessing that is it handicapped as in is it easier?
Is it easier?
Is it easier to win the Heisman of the Pac-12?
Tom Luganbill made a good point last year, which is sometimes it's handicapped the other way because we can't see a lot of those games. They're late at night and you're not getting a chance to play in prime time. I think Caleb Williams just exceeded that handicap last year. Mm-hmm. Look, I don't know, man. I'm hoping that some of these Pac-12 games are going to be on prime time when Oregon and Washington play and Utah and USC play. We got to be able to see. Those are going to be some of the biggest games in college football. So as long as they're able to play in prime time, the question then becomes how many losses, like we were talking about with Drake May, how many losses can you have and still win the Heisman Trophy?
Yeah. Well, first off, it's handy capable, and second off,
that's what I am right now.
Yeah,
you are.
It's second off. I think it's more handicapped toward anybody that doesn't play quarterback. Like against. I think it's more against people. It's a quarterback award now. It's like the.
Oh, yeah, Devontae Smith went at Bama not too long ago.
Yeah, but I mean, again, look at how many quarterbacks have won it. I think, what is it, 85%? And I get it, right? The quarterback's the only other person besides the center that touches the ball, and he throws it and hands it off and keep it and run it. I understand they're more likely to win it, but I think now with the way the game is, with the way the rules are, you're going to have a quarterback win it every year. Now, the question to me is a 9-3 USC, is that going to be enough to have Caleb Williams win the Heisman? I've got to see everybody else. I've got to see week 1 and week 2 and really know what I'm looking at. I want to see Drake May. I want to see Quinn Ewers. I want to see some of these other guys. But I thought Sam Hartman started off really well, and Caleb, had really good numbers. He's going to have really good numbers. But does the 9-3 USC team is that Heisman worthy? That's the biggest question. All right, speaking of questions, last question before we get out of here, guys.
All right, let's go to Mike RFF. It's a lifestyle, baby. Hashtag Ask the Bays. He says fantasy strategy for being the first pick in a snake draft. And strategy for being the last. First pick in a snake draft, buddy, take the best player.
Yeah. Take the best player available. Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Christian.
Justin Jefferson's going number 1 a lot, too.
Strategy for being the last pick, you got to remember this. If you are the last pick in a fantasy football league, you're doubling up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You will be the first pick coming back. So you can take best available and then position needed. That's what I usually do. So my strategy for that, I'd go running back receiver. You go ahead and clip one each. But a lot of people have different strats when it comes to that.
In a PPR, a full PPR, excuse me, it's not a bad idea to just go ahead and get 2 pass catchers too, especially if you think you know running back depth better than the league you're playing in. You can sort of get that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 running back rounds better than your competition.
I like going receiver and doubling up with if Travis Kelce's still there. Go ahead and grabbing that number 1 tight end also in a PPR league is obviously huge because he's not going to make it past the second round. Even though, when somebody wasn't able to grab him this year, but that's okay. That's okay. We've been.
Who got him? Who got him? David, you know who got him?
We'll see. Yeah. Where are you? But we know where you're going to be. Thank you guys for the comments. We've got a lot more games we're going to cover, obviously, next week, with it being week 1, which, I mean, it's really week 2.
God, I'm so glad college football's back.
Oh, I know. I miss it already. I want it today. I want, like JG Wentworth, I want it now. But you can that was going to come out wrong. You can watch us every morning or listen to us every morning live 6:30 a.m. Central to 8 a.m. Central right here on this YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe. I can tell we had a ton of comments, a bunch of people in the chat. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. Again, we like to tell you not what you want to hear, kind of what you need to hear, at least in our opinion. Got live calls tomorrow, got big time guests talking everything about everything, college football, NFL, and beyond. David, parting words?
Look, man, yesterday was fantastic. It's back when you see Timmy B on the television.
That's exactly right. And listen to Spencer Tillman sing. Blaine, what do you think? And
it's my birthday, losers. All right.
Yeah.
I'm
have a good one, man.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you check us out live in the morning. It can be on Twitter and X too. And until tomorrow, and just like the chances of USC's defense being good, we're gone.